welcome to Eco-Logue, the Eco-Logue, where we have conversations around climate change and environment. My name is Rebecca Miruri Mulure, and thank you so much for joining us. Now, Kenya's annual electronic waste generation grew from 3,000 metric tons in 2012 to over 51,000 metric tons in 2021. And on this show today, we're going to talk about electronic waste, e-waste. And to help us have this conversation is Dr. Tom Musili, who's the founder and director of We Center. We Center is waste from electrical and electronic equipment. He's going to tell us the difference between electrical and electronic equipment. And he's also the founder and director of Computer for Schools Kenya. We also have Dr. Charles Lange. Dr. Charles is the Deputy Director, Environmental Planning and Research Coordination at NEMA, and he's also the National Coordinator for World Bank E-Waste Management Program. We have the right people on set to have this conversation. My statistics, let's start with that. Like from 3,000 tons in 2012 to 51,000 metric tons in 2021.
Yeah, the last statistics that was done was in 2019, not 2021. I'm sure there are others being done, and we are waiting to hear the latest. So the numbers you have said of 51,000 metric tons is for 2019.
For 2019?
Yes.
I'm assuming we're almost there. Where are we at, Dr. Charles?
Thank you. I want to agree with what Dr. Musilia said. As of that report of 2019, those were the statistics.
Or were they predicting by 2021
yes,
we'll have over 51,000?
Yes, but the country has commissioned a study that is ongoing. So we hope by the close of the year, then we will have firm statistics that we can now update the country on where we are.
Okay.
Yeah. Thank you.
Great. Thank you so much. So let's start from what is electronic waste?
Electronic waste is anything that is using electronics or electricity and is not working, either is broken down or is obsolete, bypassed by time. That forms electronic waste. This waste contains many toxic metals that are harmful to human beings and even environment. So that's why it is very important to address the issue of electronic waste, because it's the most dangerous solid waste we have in the world.
In the world?
Yes.
Wow. Welcome, Dr. Charles. Do we understand the seriousness of electronic waste? What's the effect of electronic waste to human health and environment?
Thank you very much, Rebecca, and thank you very much for bringing me here.
Yes.
Yes, indeed, we have a lot of information that has come through since over the times on what are some of the issues associated with e-waste. And there's a lot of publications and reports that have been written on what comes from there. There are various elements that constitute electrical and electronic equipment. We have mercury, we have bromide, we have chlorine, and similar things. And so scientists have gone ahead into analyzing when these things are discarded, what are likely to be the issues associated with them. And I can tell you, because the kind of management that we handle the e-waste, where we are saying most of it end up in a hop and dump site, when they go there and they are burned, then we know that definitely then there are substances or compounds that enter into the air media, which produce furands and dioxins, which has been researched and found to be may have consequences on humans and of course on environment.
On the environment.
Thank you.
So, like the metric tons from 3,000 to 51,000 over a period of, let me do the math really fast. How many years are those? 19 years. That's a huge growth,
Exactly.
like from 3,000 tons to 51,000 tons.
Yes.
What do you think has led to this growth? Let me just come back to you.
Thank you very much. Yes, there are quite many factors that are led to this. We know the global community is now embracing ICT technology more than before. And developing countries are not there to be left behind, because if you're left behind, then the electrical and electronic equipments are catalyst to service provision. And so, you know, some of the government aspirations to go paperless in many of the services. And so that has contributed in onboarding many of the electrical and electronic equipment. And so then we see this equipment come, and then they are with us, and they continue to grow. And so, secondly, I think we are also getting to get data organized. Previously, of course, data was not very well organized, and so we are seeing interest now coming in. And so then the more information we are able to collect correctly, then the more we are likely to see statistics grow.
Okay.
Thank you.
All right. So, Dr. Musili, you, We Center has been there.
Yes.
And I'd say, like, this is the time now, I think, that we are more aware about, we are more aware of e-waste as opposed to back then. But you saw that from way back when you founded We Center. Tell me about that. What did you have in mind when you're starting We Center, sorry, and what had you seen in the electricity and the electrical, sorry, and electronic waste space that you founded the We Center?
Yeah, what informed me is, and I'm the one who started Computers for Schools Kenya in the year 2002. And by the year 2007, there was a motion in Parliament that I was bringing computers and dumping this country. Because those days, computers were not something to think about, because we did not even have computers in government offices. But me, I'd seen that. I'd gone to Canada, to Europe, to other countries, and I knew in the near future that's the way to go. And I started bringing, and it's a cost-benefit analysis. Do we fear the dumping to get knowledge, or do we bring computers? So when that debate came up, I went out to Europe to check what happens with the obsolete computers. And I discovered how they were doing it, recycling and making other products. And I came back and I started doing that. That was number one, why I started. It was forced by the situation that time. Secondly, I learned that those gadgets are very dangerous. They contain very dangerous elements that are harmful to human beings. And that also made me take that action. Finally, I thought, because technology is the way to go, it's good to prepare the eventuality of whatever we are using, to know where they are heading to. Because if we don't take care, and this is very serious, you have a sick nation. Because if our waters are contaminated, the soil and the air is polluted, then you don't have healthy human beings. So that is what made me be serious on this. It was not easy to start, because people still want to keep these things. They think they have a value.
Yes,
And
there's a value that is always
there
attached
is
to
a
it.
sentimental attachment.
Yes.
They think there is value. But three things. One, they waste your space. Secondly, they accumulate a lot of dust, which is also not healthy. And finally, they are very toxic. Like what I said, if you break the cathode ray tube, the sulfur inside will start coming. When you inhale it, it's dangerous. You remove those bulbs, they fall down, you try to sweep them. That dust is dangerous. So you don't need any electronic waste in your house. And in developed countries, they knew that many years ago. And they are very happy to pay to get rid of them.
of the electronic waste.
Yes.
You know, Dr. Charles, I think I'll come back to that. We have most of these things at home. We have batteries just lying around, old
Yes.
remotes,
Yeah.
which our children have access to sometimes, and we don't look at it as anything dangerous. What are you doing as NEMA now to pass that information? Because I think when we talk about electronic waste, sometimes we talk about it from, oh, we always think it's the computers in the offices. We always think about that. So how do you disseminate this information now to a household level?
Thank you very much. Yes, I want to pick up from where the CEO we send us left, and say that we are embracing a lot of partnerships with the stakeholders, because no one institution can really do these things alone. So we are building partnerships with like-minded institutions like his institution, among many others, just to do the awareness and sensitization of the communities at any level. I know the most critical part is the household levels, where he has already described that they do not need those e-waste in their houses, and so through our team that is involved in public awareness participation, working with the stakeholders, we have programs that are very much targeted to the people, beginning with household levels, where they move with those programs there. There's a lot of other means of reaching out to the people through social media.
What kind of programs are you talking about?
We have programs such as now there's coming next month, the International Day of E-Waste, where then we have such similar events, where then we tend to invite people to come and get some of this information, what is that they need to do. Social media is very powerful these days, and so we are using the power of social media also to communicate some of this information to people, so that they can know what is it that they need to do. Using media teams like you, now we're here. Not many people have television sets, radios, and many these communication channels or media channels to them. And so we have programs that are targeted to reach the farthest points in the country, using social media and other channels that can reach everyone, both at high level and the low level. Thank you. Yeah.
Okay. That brought us to get into that, but we're going to take a very short break, after which we'll come and talk about it. How do we get this information out there? Now, over the Africa Climate Summit, we came across some jargons, and we're trying to help us understand what some of these words mean. So today we are going to look at the word carbon credits, from the UN Climate Dictionary up next, and then we'll take a very short break. Don't go away.
My name is Philip Kehio. I'm in Nairobi CBD. I'd like to know what role or what can individuals do to ensure that more products are offered up for refurbishment, to reduce the negative effects of excessive and continuous manufacturing of electronics and disposal of the same. And also, what is being done or what can be done to ensure that we tap into the capable, youthful labor force.
Hi, I'm Gloria from Langata. What are some of the effects of poor e-waste management on the environment?
My name is Dekea Gikera. I'm from Ongata Rongai, and my question is, what is the cost of recycling electronics such as batteries, old printers, and TVs that are a threat to the environment?
My name is Werima Moirore from Nairobi. I have a DVD that I bought years ago at 5,000. I used to listen to my music and watch my movies through it. But nowadays, we have sites like Spotify and YouTube and Netflix. So can I still get value for my DVD? It's in good condition. And how do I dispose it?
Welcome back. And those were very good questions from residents of Nairobi. I think we had one from Ongata Rongai, that's Dekera Gikera. He asked about the cost of recycling. you had him. So cost of recycling is talking about batteries, old TV
TVs.
sets. You remember the ones with the back?
Yes.
So what's the cost of recycling really?
The cost of recycling is very expensive because these, like what he has said, the batteries, we are now going green, and we have many lithium batteries from solar equipment. And there is not much you can do with these batteries. So what people do, they throw these batteries to their chambers, to their farms, hoping that is very good manure. But that is lead. It's very dangerous. So what we are doing at We Sender, we are recycling these batteries further and making lithium batteries for solar installation in the houses, and also for mobility like tuk-tuk and motorcycles. And to do that, we have to import very expensive machinery, and what is not, we are not able to recover. We have a partner in Europe where we ship for further processing, and we pay for that. So for us to break even, we have to do a lot of volumes. When it comes to old TVs and CRT cathode ray tubes for TVs, now there is no country that is doing that. Even in Europe, very few countries are doing that. The only advantage, we don't have CRTs in Europe, but here we are plenty. So we are the only ones handling this in Africa. We are able to remove the toxins and grind the glass to make concrete, like the concrete for building or for the floor. And then we are able to manage the toxins through our partners in Europe. He has also asked about what else did he ask?
I think he was asking about the cost of recycling.
Yes.
And you know, I'm actually
So,
concerned if you say it's very expensive.
and that is why corporates and the people, individuals, they have to pay for the cost of recycling.
Yes.
Because for us to break even, we have to do volumes, and we have to bring in very expensive machinery for recycling. So for now, we are sensitizing people. The corporates pay, and the government, we hope the government will also pay, but we are picking free for individuals and institutions as we sensitize people. So we are incurring a lot of expenses, but we hope with volumes.
Yes, you can
And
be able
that's
to reduce
why
that cost.
we are talking with the government to release all the US to us, so that we can make an economy of scale. That's the only way we can break even.
Yes.
Yes.
And Dr. Charles, I think there's Philip Kehi who asked, he was in the CBD, individual roles on reducing disposal. And also he spoke about reducing manufacturing and increasing the refurbishing.
Yes.
But Dr. Msili is talking about the cost,
Yes.
the cost being so high, the
Yes.
cost of recycling.
Yes.
How are you trying to, as the government, how can you balance this out? How do we reduce the manufacturing and at the same time increase the refurbishing, the recycling to make to break even, so to speak?
Thank you very much. Philip, I think the government is very much cognizant of the issues that you're raising. And one of the models that the government is spearheading in collaboration with stakeholders is the circular economy model, whereby then rather than really having those devices that can continue to be used and can easily be refurbished by our stakeholders like the Wish Center, then they are able, we have the facilities that can be able to handle those and then continue having those rather than having new demands as we move along. So we believe that embracing the circular economy model is going to be the game changer for us. And I can tell you there are upcoming laws that are aligning themselves to the circular economy models, whereby then the circular economy is mainstream and is done in line with the law. So I think working together as a country, we have the opportunities of managing those concerns very effectively. Thank you.
Other than working with the We Center and working with organizations, that do recycling, what is the government doing? What are some of those practical measures that you've taken? I know you mentioned some earlier on. Do you have any plans, any hubs, any recycling plans that you're coming up with for e-waste management?
Yes, thank you very much. And I can say I keep on talking about the partnership with the stakeholders because government, we have our own mandate that we are aligned to do. But then they have their space that they have to take it up.
Yes.
And I can tell you, when beginning of this, then I said, no one institution can manage this alone. So that's why I'm saying, and the government is saying, particularly through NEMA, that we embrace partnerships so that we can build each other's strengths so that we can be able to manage this. So they are doing already, they're in the game already, the We Center, among others that are already in the space. And so for us, it's just to create an enabling working environment so that they can be able to effectively deliver on this circular economy.
Okay.
Thank you.
Do you want to talk about that?
Yeah,
Like whether you feel like what kind of support have you received from the government in enabling you to manage e-waste?
yeah, I can say we have received a lot, and especially from NEMA. Any license we want from NEMA, we get. Any information, anything we want from NEMA, they have been very supportive.
Yeah.
And that's the only way, as he has said, through partnerships. NEMA understands partnership. And we also make sure we adhere to all the rules and regulations and all the licenses issued by NEMA to follow the due process. And there is nowhere where the government is supposed to enable and to support.
Exactly.
Of course, partners who are in that business. The government cannot do e-waste recycling. That's not the preserve because they are the ones making the rules. They are the ones making the regulations. They need now to manage the people doing it and make sure they adhere to the standards. And the good thing, we have international standard on recycling of electronic waste. And that's why we have been able to get ISO certification both for quality and environment by using the international standards.
Yeah.
So NEMA is doing their part through the Ministry of Environment, of course, and through the government.
Okay.
And we're happy with the support. Now what we need to do is to scale up and to do a lot of awareness because we have tried on our part, assisted by NEMA, but we need to take it as a national program because the way we are dumping things and the way our liver is from Nairobi to Indian Ocean,
Yes.
we must do something.
Exactly. And it actually brings me to Elizabeth's question about the old DVDs.
Yeah.
Like she does not even know where to throw that or to discard it. Like, what do I do with this DVD? I no longer use it. And we even have like the DVD discs themselves.
Still working.
Still working. Oh, and the machine is still working.
And that's what I started
And she
by
doesn't know
saying.
what to do with it.
That's what I started by. There is that sentimental attachment.
Yes.
She will never use it again.
The value that she attaches to it also.
So there are only two ways. Either to give it free. Once you give it free, it will be recycled. And recycled means it is broken down and make other things.
To give it to who? I want us to talk about that because a lot of Kenyans, believe me, are hoarding equipment. We have cables in the house. We have phones that we outgrew a long time ago, but they're sitting in our lockers, in our drawers, in the houses and in the offices. We don't know what to do with it. So what are these sent? I want you to talk about where do we drop them, or where do we take them? So they don't. So that they don't end up in the dustbin with other waste, like the waste that we throw, and then they end up at Dandora dumping site. So where do we take them?
Bring all these things, all this equipment, anything, starting from fridges, cookers, mobile phones, DVDs like what she has to computer to the we sender. The we sender, we are Eastern Bypass, and maybe at the end of this show you give the details of our contact,
Of where we can get you.
where we can get us, the website and the
Yes.
location.
I still have a problem with that.
Yes.
My mom in Yala,
Yes.
yeah,
Yes.
has a battery that she was using, yeah,
Yes.
for solar, and then now it's like, you know, it's no longer working, or she had to get another one, and it's lying somewhere under the bed. How does she get it to Nairobi?
We have addressed this.
How?
Number one, we have regional centers in the former provinces: Nairobi, Kisumu, Mombasa, Eastern Meru. We have collection centers as we sender. We also, in partnership with Safaricom, with their shops, 52 shops across the country. We are in partnership with Carrefour supermarkets, but that's mainly in Nairobi. We have partnership with Total in Nairobi and Mombasa. So we are able to reach Yala, and also our schools, Computer for Schools Kenya. We use them as
collection
centers. We talk to the principals. So we are able to do that, but for them to be proactive, to take action, they need to get the information. And that's why I'm talking about sensitization.
Yes.
Through media, and then the government will help us to have those programs.
Yes.
Through the government.
Through the government.
You know, when it comes through the government, it has a lot of weight.
Impact, exactly. And
Yes.
that's what I want to talk about, Dr. Charles, because you know, when he talks about these collection centers, they can't be everywhere. They can. We center cannot be everywhere in the country.
Exactly.
What do you think the government can do to enhance that? Because the collection, people have electronic waste in their houses, but they don't know where to dump it.
It did, and first of all, I want to start by commending them, of course, setting these regional networks, because that's a good beginning. On the making, I want to say there is what is coming up, going to be the extended producer responsibility, the regulations, which are just a draft now, but we hope soon they will be gazetted. So they provide a framework for how then the people coming up with these products, they are going to ensure that they can be able to take care of them, so that if somebody, this product, there is going to be extended producer organizations who are going to be formed to be able to run out these schemes, such a way that what he's saying, that they have the networks, how they are able to bring back their materials back.
Okay.
So this is something that on the side of the government, that we are hoping that once that comes into place, then with the support and others, then we can see a different kind of a ball game altogether. Or now then these things can be able to be retrieved from the environment.
Okay. All right. Thank you so much. We'll listen to that more. I think the solutions part, how do we reduce these metric tons from over 51,000, that I think that's like 51.3 tons, to you know, a level that we can manage. After this short break. After the break, we'll have a hummingbird, a young man in Korogosho who's in his own little way, like the hummingbird, is trying to change this whole narrative. He's using e-waste, electronic waste, to create lamps. And we're going to have one of those on set after this short break. Don't go away.
I'm Patrick Lupalo. I'm the founder of Next Concepts Innovations. At Next Concepts Innovation, we recycle dumped electronics and e-waste to give them a second life. One of the challenges the environment faces is dumping. So recycling is one of the ways of making the environment clean. In the process, we make some lamps that are widely used and general outdoor and indoor activities. I started as a hobby when I was young. I used to play around with the void electronics, batteries, torch, and other small electronics. At home, there was no electricity. So we used to dwell on paraffin lamps and candles. So whenever I got the batteries, I used to join them and made a very bright light from them. I started making these lamps during the COVID-19 pandemic. Yeah, because before that I used to work in the dumping site, in the construction sites, and fiber trenching. From the Dandora dumping site, there are people who collect the e-waste and make an income from them. So I get them from them, and I look at the way of recycling them and coming up with the lamps. We assemble them together. We sort them first. We clean and we disinfect. Yeah, and we begin the process by maybe by cutting, folding, and whatever. So it undergoes some process of testing also. We test the continuity, we test the polarity of the maybe batteries, and we sort out and grade it according to the how best it can be. Those that can work, we continue with them. Those that can't work, we also find another art of giving it a second life as much as it's recycled. I can say that 80% of the lamp, the materials are recycled, fully recycled, but I also buy few, like the purchase alone, and the switch maybe, but others are recycled. Also, very soon they will be used to charge the phone, and the the lighting quantity, the energy is 8 watts compared to the other normal bulbs, where maybe the bulb goes up to 100 watts or even more. So when you use this lamp, you just charge it for 2 hours and use it for 8 hours, and will have saved the energy that the 75 watts or 100 watts bulb will have used. So you'll not go an extra mile of paying extra token bills by using these lamps. Since nianze hii innovation, nimeuza like 1500 lamps, like 1000 within the slums, 500 up country, na other and other places. I got people that were so interested in knowing how to make the lamps, and they also wanted to be employed. So I had to train them, and they knew how to make the lamps. So they helped me to make the lamp, and as I give them some wages. Yeah. So this one costs 300, the small one. The following one, this one, the larger base, goes at 350. This one, okay. This one goes at 350, and this one goes at 500. Yeah. The durability is, this one has quite longer durability than the others. Yes. You see, like the engineers have to go to EBK, the doctors have their own body, but innovators have nowhere to go. Yeah, it's just you and you alone, and maybe your customers and people around you. So maybe the government could come up with a body that brings together all the innovators, and maybe maybe in that body it could be they could get more innovators, and ideas could rise from there.
Wow, that's a beautiful story about Patrick Lupalo. And what I loved about it is how the women in Korogosho now are able to do their sales up to around 10 p.m. And initially, they used to sell up to 7 p.m. And they'd have to rely on phone light, like the torches from the phones for them to be able to make the sales. But right now, they switch this one, yeah, and it's 10 watts. Can you imagine? It's just 10 watts. And it's able to reserve charge for 8 hours. That's what he said on this story. So tell me about such people, such innovators in the e-waste space. How can they be empowered? How can they be recognized, and of course now upscale this to, because this is great, because it's getting this from the Dandora dump site.
Yeah, we encourage recycling for reuse to make sure we extend the life of these gadgets, and also have innovative people who can now convert what is e-waste to something else, like what he has done. And we have come up with a circular innovation hub where we bring young people with such a talent. We train them on basic business and financial knowledge, and then give them some money to support what they are doing, and challenge them. In 1 year, they must have employed 2 people. If we give you support, by the end of the year, you employ 2 people. So by the end of the year, 3 people are employed.
No.
That is the way to create employment. You create employment and you save these ganges going to the dumping site.
Exactly.
So we encourage what this young man is doing. And if you connect us with him,
Yeah.
we'll see how to support him.
Awesome.
Yes.
Thank you. The government. we
Thank
have
you very
such
much. Yes,
innovators.
yes,
Yeah?
yes, yes.
Who's transforming a whole community.
Let me take the opportunity also to congratulate the innovator for this amazing device, which I think, in line with what we have been saying, is moving the idea of this circular economy forward. I think my colleague, the CEO of the WeSend, has already said they have the program on circular innovations. Where we sit, we say that, for instance, the government, and as I said earlier, we are embracing circular economy. And you look at some number of regulatory frameworks, they have singled out and promoted circular economy. So what we say as a government, giving or creating an enabling environment for the players, such as the WeSender, to now move this to the next level, then that gives a connections now, how then we come in to create an enabling environment within the legal framework, and then they can pick it up and run with it with the innovation center that he's talking about. Okay. So this is a good thing, and I think this is not going to be a surprise. With the enabling environment coming up, yes, you are going to see a lot of innovations and a lot of brains. Kenya is full of genius. Wow. And so you can imagine this subject, as it continues to create interest, then we are going to see solutions come day by day.
Okay.
Thank you.
I want to talk about the e-waste plant that is coming up at Konza. Tell us about that. Is it still at the initial stages?
Yes, let me say that, Rebecca, that indeed, just again working very closely with the stakeholders, we as government, because we are there to create an enabling environment, we have moved in partnership with the CONSA and other stakeholders just to see whether we can just have a demonstration pilot on how circular economy works, so that when we talk in practice, I know our colleagues, WISEND has been doing this, but we just say that why don't we work together and set up a place whereby people can go and see a demonstration on how then, if you want, you have ideas on circular economy, how you can be able to go and see for yourself and share ideas with some of the experts there, so that you can get motivated and move on with this.
So it's a lab, it's a plant.
We are starting like a demonstration pilot, where we are just bringing in how it works, okay, as a circular economy in e-waste, so that we can motivate teams to start these kind of arrangements. And then from there, hopefully, working with stakeholders, then we can grow up to be the center of excellence in these things. We hope that people can come from everywhere just to come and learn. Also have some research work going on there on what are the issues that are associated with e-waste, the pollution levels. So it's going to be a mix of a few things that demonstrates what is it that is in e-waste and how is it that you can incubate circular economy.
Circular economy. Yeah. Dr. Musili, we'd want to reduce this number. We, like the 51,000 tons and growing. How do we? What are we looking at for the next 10 years? What can we do now to either bring down this number and not, increase it to more than 50 or 51,000 metric tons as it is right now? What do we do for the next 10 years?
Yeah, before that, I wanted to pick from where he has left that the cause innovation or what the government is doing is good because we want the government to lead by example. But I encourage the government to support more the local initiatives because that way they will work together and move fast. But if the government does it, it's something the government is doing, and they will forget the local innovators, like the circular hub, like the We Center. We want them to support the local initiatives so that they can move, because in all over the world, it's not government doing that. It's private sector, and the government remains supporting and coming with the regulations and standards. So as they do the demonstration center, we want them to support, not even We Center, anyone who has a local initiative.
Yes.
Because if it's taken by government, people tend to pull out and wait for the government to do it. We want ownership by the people. And we are very serious entrepreneurs who want to do it and benchmark with other countries and do it properly. Now, when it comes to reducing, number one is making sure we don't buy what we don't need. That's one way of reducing, because that way you buy the right thing. Number two, buy the original, the quality, because if you buy this back door, they will take only 2 months, 3 months, they are spoiled. That is e-waste. Number three, we encourage reuse. If you have an old computer that is still working, don't throw it. Give to somebody else to use until it stops. Then bring it to us. We will handle it. And then number four, we want the government to come with regulations to enforce people to take responsibility of the e-waste they have in their houses, in their homes, to make sure they handle it properly. In that way, we are able to collect and manage them safely and reduce the number that is being dumped. Now, 1% of what comes of e-waste in this country is what is recycled.
Only 1%.
Now, that is statistics we have. Like the statistics you have of over 51,000 metric tons, 1% is what is recycled. So the rest is
99
in
goes to
offices, is in houses, and in dump sites. And these things, combined with industrial chemicals, as you know, we have issues with this standards of our pesticides and industrial chemical being channeled to Nairobi River, is contributing over 50% of what is killing people in this country. So we must do something as a country and take what we talk seriously.
exactly.
Let's stop workshops and conferences. And my prayer is that, like Kenya, if we are attending a conference, we go there and say what we are doing. Already, not to go there and talk statistics, stories from YouTube. We need to say we are doing this to address climate change. We are doing this to reduce e-waste in this country. We are doing this to sensitize people to get out e-waste for proper recycling and management. And we are there. We are there. We have a website. We say what we do. Our place is open. You can bring your gadgets and come and see what the process, what we are doing, and we are adding value. In fact, what we export is very minimal The rest, we use it in this country.
And we use it here.
Yes.
Maybe before we finish up, because of time, Dr. Charles, what is the government doing at a policy level now? He's talked about we avoid getting gadgets from backdoor, like gadgets that are not legit. So, what from a policy level, how do you think the government can regulate such? Because by getting substandard gadgets is one of the ways in which we'll end up with a lot of electronic waste.
Very much, and sincerely thank him because, as he said, they are doing quite a lot, and we really appreciate what they are doing as the frontiers in e-waste management. From where we sit, I think, and as I said, already we have 2 draft regulations that are on the making. We have the draft e-waste regulations that is destined to come anytime. So the provisions of these regulations have hope on how we can now take care of how people are involved in this game of the e-waste. And so by having that, then having them registered and having them taking responsibility on giving data on the volumes that they are handling, even electronic and electrical equipment, then I think is a good start point to start and invoke managing some of the issues associated with e-waste, like those qualities products. So I think what just to assure Kenyans that there is hope. Whereas things, it looks very tough, but there is a lot of hope, and government is doing its best to ensure that these things are streamlined.
Okay.
Well, thank you.
Yeah. And you know, my producer will finish me if I don't ask this question. 51 metric tons, for example, the figure that we are using. What can you, that's equivalent to what? If I'm to think of it, like, that's how much? Like, how many trucks, for example? 51 tons is like...
A truck is about 7 tons. So if you divide those ones, how many is a heap?
So it's like 5.
Is a heap?
No, there are several.
Oh, no, you're not 5. Oh, gosh.
There are several story buildings. Big, tall
Several story buildings.
Yes.
That's the amount of waste we are talking about.
Yes.
Electronic waste.
Yes. Is a lot, and if they are in the soil, they will get to us through the soil, through the water. If they are being burnt somewhere, because we have crude ways of burning cables to get copper, crude ways of pouring acid to motherboards to get some metals, and that is happening, and that's what Dr. Charles is saying. We have to have the regulations to enforce, to make sure that does not happen.
Sure.
Yes, and it has taken time, but I hope it's almost. It has
There is
been
a great
almost.
hope this
It
time.
has been almost for
Yes.
several years.
Okay.
So I hope for now, for sure,
Yeah.
it will come out, because that is what will make sure things move very fast in addressing the issue of dumping and the proper management of electronic waste.
Gentlemen, it's been a pleasure having you on this show. Thank you so much. Of course, we cannot exhaust this conversation on electronic waste management, but thank you so much. I'm sure our viewers have learned one thing or two on electronic waste management. And to you, if you have any electronic waste in your home or gadgets that you no longer use, then now you know how to dispose them off, and they can be put into better use. My name is Rebecca Mulure, and this has been Eco-Logue, and we've been coming to you from the UN headquarters in Gigiri, which is the only headquarters in the Global South. Thank you so much for watching. Until next time, have a lovely evening.